Looking at the video playing on your screen is a footage of adoption of someone from Edo State. To be precise. This is the modus of operandi of the terrorists, the kidnappers, who lay siege to people's homes, compounds, and adopt them. I must say that this is a worrisome situation, and this to call to the attention of the governor of the state, who understand is the governor and the chief security officer of the state, who has sworn to protect the lives and properties of Nigerians within that state, and this is to equally draw to the attention of the commissioner of police in that state, because as we have it, life is already being threatened at the highest level in Edo State. Because whether we like it or not, it behoves on the government to protect lives and properties of Nigerians. As we have it, Section 14, Subsection 2B of the Constitution is very clear that the welfare of the people and their security shall be the primary purpose of governance. I want to say that these have actually triggered protests in Ekpoma, a situation where citizens fight out on the streets to protest the constant, repeated kidnapping of citizens in localities. As you can clearly see from the news coming from that state, that people are even afraid to come out of their homes, to move around on the streets, particularly when it's becoming dark. I must say that this is not acceptable, that the authorities, particularly the governor, the commissioner of police, must rise to the occasion to do the needful. This is why we have been yelling and asking that let us have community-based policing system, as canvassed by the Director General of DSS, talking about Ajayi. And I want to say that the approach of the president, talking about Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu, who gave leverage to the state governors to go ahead and start floating, establishing forest guards. I must say that the state governors like Edo State must move with the speed of light to embrace this. Because we can clearly see that a state like Enugu State already embraced this. A state like Kogi State already embraced this. And we can see success coming from Kogi State, where the security agencies coming together to comb bushes, forests, and we are seeing success. And we are saying that Edo State can replicate this. Because as far as I'm concerned, the insecurity we are seeing can be addressed if we think out of the box. Because there's a saying that you cannot continue doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. We must think out of the box. How do we think out of the box? To rejig the security architecture. To give the governors who complain that they do not command the security architecture some level of security power to parade. Because I understand that the governors go by the name of the governors, and the governors go by the governors and the head of security in their respective states. But in the practical terms, they do not command the security architecture in their respective states. That is why I personally endorse the issue of forest guard and endorse the issue of state police as being championed by the president. And I want to believe that as we have it, that very soon we are going to have state police on board. But in the meantime, let us make use of the forest guard that the governors have been given the authority, the mandate to start recruiting. As far as I'm concerned, this issue of insecurity is an even wind that blows no one any good. You may say it's not happening in your locality, as such you stand aloof. I must say that it's a matter of time. If not addressed, it will definitely go round. That is why all hands must be on deck to ensure that we address this. That is why I always say, if you see something, say something. Because the business of managing security is not for the security agencies alone. What role you play anytime you see anything that will aid the authorities, the security agencies to nip crime in the bud, is often better you divulge such intelligence. Because even the terrorists themselves have a way of gathering intelligence for themselves. And you can clearly see arrest of some terrorist intelligence officers, like the one we just saw that was apprehended by the military, who of course came from Yobe State in Damaturu to be precise, and who went, of course, who came all the way from Borno State in Michika local government area, who went to Damaturu to gather intelligence for terrorists. And as you can clearly see, the man even confessed that he's an expert in planting bombs, explosive in public spaces, places. That is why I must say that this issue of fighting terrorism, fighting security, needs and demand for a concerted effort. Because this is an evil wind that blows no one any good. You may say it's not happening in your locality, it's not happening in your state, you stand aloof. I must say that it's a matter of time. It will definitely go around. Because no one could have imagined in 2009, in 2010, that Kwara State will become an epicenter of terrorism. But it's happening at very eyes here today. That Kwara State is already an epicenter of terrorism. But I must say a very big thank you for your time. This is a good place to let it go. We'll come your way next time.